even when we have to deliver so-called bad news to people, most people would appreciate it if we were quite just direct about it. Not mean, not sarcastic, just saying, you know, this is something that's come down, this is what we got to deal with. Because it's our prejudgment or prejudice, which is the same thing, prejudging, prejudice. Our prejudging of how the person reacts will cause us to either dance around the subject, so we won't actually get the message across. We might rush because we're a little uncomfortable, that causes us to speed up. Or we might just melt away a little bit or just avoid the situation and hope that the person sort of finds out some other way. Either way, we're really not doing ourselves any justice. Now, if any of you put down sort of authority figures that make you feel uncomfortable, whether it be sort of law enforcement, stern parents, whatever it is, if you put, or maybe a difficult or mean type of boss or very blunt type of manager, realize that what I've discovered is those, again, we talked about this earlier, those difficult people, first of all, they're people. Secondly, even the toughest people are soft in the center. The reason why they're so harsh is because that's their way of defending themselves. Okay, so then once you realize that, you're less likely to allow that person's aggressiveness to really irritate you. And in fact, aggressive and direct people really want people to be more direct. Just tell me what's going on. They don't want you to dance around stuff. And yet, the reaction they cause in us is we get a little bit, you know, dodgy, or we're reluctant to share information, and they like just lock in on us at that point. They go, what do you mean you don't know what's going on? Or what do you mean you don't have the full story? Or whatever it is. And the reality is that it's like you're almost stirring a bear out of hibernation by doing that. The person wants to hear the direct information and would like you just to tell it like it is, but your reaction to them is to do the opposite. So again, we wouldn't want you to be that way, to cause people to be that uncomfortable, to screw up the communication with you. So when you're going into that person, just be straight with them. Be straight with them. And when they get blustery or difficult, instead of allowing that to get you all fired up or upset or emotional, just go, that's interesting behavior. One of the best things we can do is to take the judge and the victim out of our lives, right? The judge is the one where we judge people and say that person's wrong or right, or, you know, if we could take judgment and we could suspend it and instead substitute curiosity, that's interesting behavior. We'll be doing a lot better in terms of people like that. You know? And I wouldn't say, by the way, that you say that out loud to those people. My, that's curious behavior. Boy, we learned in our course that you're pretty defensive and have a low sense of self-esteem. How's that working for you? My suggestion is you can keep that knowledge to yourself and simply use it strategically. And so it's more in your own mind, so that you don't get all worked up and get defensive, that you just realize that, gee, that person's got some interesting behavior. All right, then on the other side, by the way, you want to eliminate the victim behavior or the victim thinking in your mind. The victim is, I can't do anything. It's out of my control. You know, it's not me, it's the organization. It's not me, it's the economy. It's, you know, all of this sort of like, oh, woe is me, everything's happening to me, I have no say in anything. The reality is, you do have some say. You have some say in your work group and how you lead people. So victim thinking doesn't help you any more than judge thinking does. One is simply more, oh, well, I'll just go along with whatever happens. And judge is, well, that person's obviously stupid. Either way, it's not going to be helpful.